Christy Lukasiak has found herself in scandal after scandal this year, and lately there has been a lot of debate over whether Dance Moms fans are too invested in her downfall, or if they're much too forgiving of her actions. Welcome back to my series, Dance Moms Uncovered. On June 27 of this year, Christy was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. She had crashed her car into a tree, which left a telephone pole hanging over the car. Many fans have suspected that Christy was driving home after shooting an episode of Back to the Bar with Kelly. Specifically the episode Breaking the Fourth Wall, where Kelly and Christy filmed themselves drinking at the Wooden Nickel. In the after party for this episode, Christy says that she needs to get an Uber, and Kelly insists that Christy is her ride home. Ultimately, Christy had to pay just $1,508.68 for drink driving, which is an incredibly low fine considering just how close she came to hurting innocent people on the road. She recalls that during the day of her televised fight in New Orleans, she had been drinking since 8 a.m. because there was a drive-through daiquiri bar which sold 25-cent Jello shots. She admits that she was the one who started the fight between her and Leslie. She has also admitted that on New Year's Day 2013, she and Kelly went to a casino, getting so drunk that Christy threw up all over Brittany Pent, who was babysitting for her at the time.
Was the New Orleans fight real? Yes. Your girl was a little drunk. I had been drinking since 8 a.m. because where we were filming at the dance studio was right across the street from a drive-through daiquiri bar. Said daiquiri bar also had 25-cent Jello shots. And so I'm just saying, between Jello shots and hurricanes, I was in a aggressive yet vulnerable situation. And I did start the fight.
I think this was the show that we did an appearance at the casino for. Yes, and I threw up on Brittany.
You were so drunk.
I'm pretty sure I threw up on Brittany, my babysitter at the time. She was 16.
And Christy didn't only resort to physical violence when she was drinking. She has revealed that when she stormed out in season 3, she shoved a camera, which hit the cameraman in the face. Brian Stinson also claims that he almost got hit by a car once, heavily implying that Christy was the one driving, trying to run him over.
Actually, at one point, I turned around and I shoved the camera away from me, and Eddie's face was near it, so it kind of hit him in the face.
Oh, nice.
We would have had a lot of hit by a car, but I can't really talk about that. There's been some attempted murder situations.
Because of me.
Christy has also been involved in several business ventures that have been heavily criticised. For instance, back in 2017, she was a part of the Irreplaceables tour, which became notorious in the fandom for having poor communication with the fans who purchased tickets. Nia and Holly were suddenly removed from the tour without warning, and several fans described the performances as lazily thrown together. Even Kendall admitted that between the two legs of the tour, they didn't rehearse their numbers. In this second leg, several events were cancelled in South America. Chloe and Kendall revealed in their travel vlogs that the girls weren't allowed to travel to Brazil because they didn't get the necessary work visas. Kendall says that it would have taken them weeks to get the visas that they needed. Many fans were outraged that the mums and their management didn't plan ahead in getting the necessary visas. The girls suggested that they would return to Brazil, which they never did.
Go over all the dances because we haven't done the dances since the last tour, which was about 2 months ago. We are now trying to apply for visas and it's just a hot mess.
I just wanted to say we are so sorry we couldn't make it to Brazil, but we are coming back, so check our social media for the new dates.
And we had a red eye to Brazil, but now we might not be able to go because I don't think we have visas. But we weren't allowed on because we don't have a visa, like I said earlier. I'm very, very, very excited to head back to Brazil just because we did not make it there. So Brazil, we are coming for you next.
Christy's also been heavily criticised for buying a home in New Orleans with Chloe and then renting it out on Airbnb. This is because the short-term rental market in this area is driving up rent and property prices for local residents, many of whom are underprivileged people of colour. This venture still holds a prominent space on her social media, despite the fact that the home now has a minimum stay of 30 days for some reason. There have also been a few complaints from members of sorority groups who have hired her to speak at their colleges, saying that Christy ghosted them after they paid her. Then there's Christie's recent drama with Elevate Dance Competition, which she co-owned and ran alongside Chloe, Diane, and Brittany. Diane claims that she was blindsided when she and Brittany were contacted by the Lukasiaks' lawyer, asking them to give up their ownership in Elevate. Their competition dates for the rest of the current season have therefore been cancelled, and they have announced that the company will be dissolved. All Christie has had to say on the matter is that she isn't willing to air dirty laundry, and that there's a lot more to the situation than we've been told. In the short time since then, Christie has already begun trying to create a new dance competition on her own, called Changement.
And I'm not willing to air dirty laundry like some people. I'm just not. Just know, I'm going to say this, just know there's a lot more to the story than you're being told.
You know what I really can't wait for? When I can tell my side of everything. Because right now it sucks. You know how hard it sucks when you can't like say a word because everyone's like, no, you can't say anything until this is done, this is done. And I'm not saying that everyone will agree with me, but there's a lot of stuff out there that's not actually factual.
I often say that relationships are complex, and we can never know the full story of what goes on between two public figures when the cameras are off. But I believe it's worth discussing a few points that Christie has brought up over the years about her treatment of Chloe. Christie herself has claimed that she was too harsh with Chloe on the show, thinking that if her dancing improved, Abby would be nicer to her. She has even said that she pushed Chloe more harshly than what we saw on the show.
You can see me getting upset with Chloe when she's rehearsing and things aren't going well. She was wrestling with her own things because like she couldn't get out of her head to do it. But in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, if you just do what I know you're capable of doing, all of that other bad stuff will stop. To me, when I look back at that, that is a huge mistake that I made.
I did push Chloe, and I pushed Chloe more than they showed on TV. But yeah, I definitely pushed Chloe more than they showed. And I think Jeff talked about that and stuff. And and Chloe to this day still talks about it.
Back in 2014, Christie used to insist on social media that Abby never invited Chloe to participate in her meet and greets. Abby has claimed that Chloe was invited, but Christie would tell her that they weren't invited because she wanted to make more money by doing her own events independently. Abby's word alone isn't exactly trustworthy, but Christie herself has since admitted that the reason why they never did a meet and greet with Abby was because she would only pay the kids around $500 each. Even though Christie and Kelly often complained that their kids were overworked on the show, they would have their kids do many meet and greets across the country, rather than resting when they had time off filming. They justify this by saying this was the only way to make money from the show.
Sadly, sometimes the child never knows that she was invited. Her mother either doesn't respond, doesn't react, or says no, then turns around and tells the kid, you were invited.
I never once ever would do a meet and greet with that woman because she would do them with those kids and collect billions of dollars and give them like $500. And I was like, they're not coming to see you. They're coming to meet the kids. If we had opportunities to capitalize on the major success of the show when everyone else was capitalizing except for us, why wouldn't
the producers, the
creators,
Abby, everybody made money on the show but us.
Yes, we made money, but very, very little compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
So if we have an opportunity to like do something and put money away for our kids or let them have opportunities, it kills me that it was portrayed like that we were these greedy, awful people when everybody who goes on reality TV does this.
And in the years since the show, Christie and Chloe went through a period of low contact. Christie has admitted that she used to constantly track Chloe's location. She complained on her podcast about Chloe not calling her on Mother's Day. And when Chloe first came out, Christie has admitted that she didn't handle this news well.
I got so much on the internet because I made some jokes that I use Life 360 on my kids, and I said that about Chloe. And the internet blew up that like, why are you tracking your daughter? I'm not tracking my daughter. I have location services turned on because she lives almost 3,000 miles away. And if something happens to her that I'm not aware of because I'm not talking to her every day, we need to know. And she calls me back and she's in a parking garage, so I lost her. And then like, she never called me again. And it was just the saddest thing because it was Mother's Day. And I was like, I just want to talk to my daughter. And so then, you know, an argument ensued. I was kind of bitter because I'm like, why didn't you take the time to call me?
My parents weren't as accepting when I first...
John, I had a really hard time with that. You know that. You were one of the first people I called, and I was just, I didn't know how to handle it. I wasn't the most supportive I could be because I had so many emotions.
Over the years, Christy has also behaved in ways that are considered rather out of touch. For instance, in 2020, when the world was in lockdown to prevent the spread of the virus, Christy travelled across the country to get her hair done. At this time, she also took a sponsored holiday to Aruba because she said that she felt like she needed to get away.
This is a little controversial. I love controversy. I don't know. This one's bad. I'm actually leaving tomorrow to go away for 5 days. I just need to go sit on the beach and reevaluate my life, I guess. I don't know.
Christy has also been accused of constantly victimizing herself and playing the victim on behalf of Khloe. There is evidence online of Christy liking tweets that suggested that Maddie winning the Choice Dancer Award at the Teen Choice Awards in 2016 was rigged. More recently, Brittany Pent has claimed that Christy cheated on her husband Mark with a guy hired by Elevate who worked behind the scenes of their competition. There are plenty of instances on the show where Christy perpetuated negativity towards people based on their appearance and stereotyping. She has apologised for her hurtful words and actions towards Kaya, and for fat-shaming people on TV.
I absolutely hate, and such a big mistake of mine, that I ever fat-shamed someone on television.
And then I say the thing that I would love to take back more than anything on this planet, on this show, is I said, don't let the door hit you in your blackout on the way out. I cannot stand that I said that.
Khloe claimed on the Dance Moms reunion that Christy is the kind of person who would change herself to be what the world wants her to be. Regardless of whether she's motivated by being a better person or by appearing to be one, let's hope that Christy stops perpetuating negative stereotypes in the future. So what do you guys think? Do you think that it's fair that Christy has come under fire for her actions recently? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.